Delivering some bad news in your next management or team meeting? Well, don't be anxious because the presentation coach got you covered. Good day, everyone. This is Apple Diaz, your presentation coach, and once again, I'm back with another video, this time on a very simple framework that you can actually make use of in delivering bad news presentations. What are examples of bad news presentations? Well, examples of bad news presentations include not being able to hit your target or your quota. Let's say, for example, when you're talking about sales or collection, not being able to meet the expected output. Let's say, for example, there are delays or you have gone over budget, okay, in relation to a project or an initiative that you're actually working on. There are complaints along the way. It could be an internal customer complaint or an external customer complaint. Well, these are examples of bad news messages, and there are still a lot of examples out there. I'm very sure that once in your life as a presenter, you're able to already deliver some bad news presentations. And if you're the type of presenter who in the future, very near future, would be delivering this type of presentation, then this video training is definitely for you. So if you get to master this framework that I'm going to share with you today, then your bad news presentation would not really sound as bad. Instead, it will sound a little better because at the end of your presentation, you're also going to deliver some piece of good news. Well, in delivering bad news, there are actually 5 different steps, and these 5 different steps are divided into 2 parts: the bad news and the good news. Okay? Step number 1. Okay? You need to be able to deliver the bad news at the onset. There's no need for you to delay because delaying will just simply add to your anxiety as a presenter and to the anxiety of your audience. Okay? Step number 2. Okay? Be able to share as well the magnitude or the impact of the bad news to the team, to management, to the business as a whole, or to your audience particularly. Your audience needs to be able to see the entire picture of how this bad news will impact them, okay, so that they can prepare better. Okay. Step number 3, cite a reason or reasons, okay, that actually brought about the bad news, the problem, or the concern at hand. Okay. I just want you to be careful not to point to anyone or point at anyone in citing those different reasons. You have to be as objective as possible in doing so. Remember, blaming will not help. Blaming will just simply add negativity to the already negative nature of your bad news presentation. Well, step number 4 is where the good news comes in. Okay, please do cite 2 to 3 possible options for you and your audience to arrest the problem or the situation at hand. Be able to share the pros and the cons of each of these different options so that your audience gets to have a good understanding of which option is the best for resolving the problem or the issue. Step number 5 is making a recommendation to your audience as to which of the options you have presented is the best option to take. Having the advantages and disadvantages presented to your audience, now they have a better view of which they prefer, okay, among those different options. Okay? At this point, decide not on your own, but decide with your audience. In doing so, you are getting their commitment and getting their cooperation, which is something that's very positive, and this also connotes shared responsibility. Well, after making such a decision, you need to also be able to share with your audience what the next steps are and when you're going to provide to them the next update. Well, these are the 5 steps in delivering bad news presentations. Okay? Just for me to summarize everything, number 1 is to tell the bad news at the onset. Number 2, cite the impact, okay, the magnitude and the seriousness of such bad news. Number 3, what are the reasons that brought about this bad news? Number 4, what are the options that you can take in order to arrest the bad news? And number 5, which of these different options is the best option to take? With that, I trust that this piece of framework will be of great use to you, most especially in preparing for that next bad news presentation that you are to deliver. I hope that this will also add confidence to you as you face your audience and deliver the bad news message. Marami pong salamat for watching this video, and always remember that the presentation coach is always here to help.